Analyzing production and summary results. Once the simulation is over, we are ready to analyze its results. 92. Click on Summary icon on top of At-Risk's Results ribbon. The following window appears. Notice that At-Risk directly opens this window on the Outputs tab. This table will show, for each output row, a thumbnail chart and the most important statistics calculated for each one: minimum, mean, maximum, percentile 5, percentile 95 and number of errors, if any, generated for each output during the simulation. 93. Drag out the first thumbnail chart for production in 1,000 barrels for Year 1 output. This is the chart that describes probabilistic production for Year 1. It has a mean or average of 477.76 thousand barrels, a minimum of 73,000 barrels and a maximum of 1.94 million barrels. The most likely or mode value is smaller than the mean at 394,000 barrels. Therefore, this distribution is asymmetric with a skewness index of 1.04, indicating that potential results could extend very long with very low probabilities. 94. Return to the summary window. At this point, drag the thumbnail for the second year's production and drag it to overlay on top of the previously created chart for the first output. This will create the following chart with two curves. 95. Let us keep overlaying charts for the first 5 years of production, by returning to the summary window and dragging out respectively, the thumbnails for years 3, 4 and 5. You can keep overlaying as much as 20 different charts on top, although it evidently becomes more difficult to read and interpret with so much information on top of this chart. In any case, we will make some changes on this chart next in order to make it an easier interpretation. By the end of this operation, the chart looks like this. 96. Place your cursor on top of the probabilistic bar, which at this moment by default, only shows probabilities for the first two charts. 97. Right-click on the bar and the following context-sensitive dialog appears. 98. Select the first delimiter options for At-Risk to open the Graph Options dialog at its Delimiters tab. 99. Change number of delimited curves from 2 to 5 and close with OK. 100. Drag the left-hand side wall of the statistics table to the left in order to allow for its expansion and show all 5 columns. 101. Click on the title of the chart and modify it to include a reference to 5 years. Production in 1,000 barrels for years 1 through 5. So far, the chart should look like this. Sometimes inserting density curves on overlaid mode does not allow for a clear reading. Some people prefer, at this point, to change the chart for a cumulative ascending type of chart. 102. Click on the cumulative ascending option of the S-shaped type of chart icon at the bottom part of the chart to change it to a percentile type of chart. On S-shaped charts, also called cumulative ascending or percentile charts, the y-axis now becomes significant. It shows the cumulative probability of each one of the productions at its matching x-axis intersection. 103. For example, write 1000 on top of the vertical left-hand delimiter. The chart should now look like this. On year 1, there is close to 99% probability that production will be less than 1 million barrels. By year 3, the probability of being less than 1 million barrels has decreased to close to 31%. By the 5th year, the probability of being less than 1 million barrels of annual production has decreased to 1%. There is an alternative way for viewing output information along a variable that changes along time, such as, in this case, production or cash flows. 104. Go back to Results Summary and select the title section by right-clicking on Range, Production in 1,000 barrels text. 105. Select the option Summary Trend of Summary Graph. The following chart is produced. The band of this summary chart may be different from the ones that come by default on At-Risk. We have changed our default settings to incorporate 2 sets of different bands. Observe that this chart's bands correspond to an inner band with P10 and P90, and then an outer band for P5 and P95. 106. Right-click on any part of the chart to invoke a context-sensitive dialog and click on Graph Options. 107. Change the inner band option to P10% to P90% and the outer band option to P5%, P95%. 108. Change to your preferred set of colors of each band optionally. 109. Click OK to exit and return to your summarized probabilistic chart. Observe mean peak production on year 5, as well as its bandwidth at that point. Starting on year 6, the declining effect of production behaves decreasingly exponential and the absolute bandwidth decreases in range. By year 10, for example, Mean production is slightly less than 500,000 barrels. A summary chart can also be generated for the other time-dependent multi-output variable, cash flow. 110. On the results summary window, go down to where the range, cash flows title appears. Click on it and, when turned blue, select Summary Graph, Summary Trend type of chart. The following chart appears. On average, for the first 3 years, there will be negative cash flows. Year 4 shows a wide band of probable results that could either turn positive or negative. Years 5 cash flows are, on the mean, slightly positive with a large probabilistic width. Year 6 shows a significant increase on cash flows once the company has stopped investing money on drilling 5 wells or more per year. After year 6, cash flows will keep decreasing every year according to a declining factor but will remain positive for the remaining 20-year period.